Yeah, they booted me out.
What?
I am sorry, everybody. I have no idea why it booted me out. It just said that my YouTube was against the terms of service. I don't know what that means. It's not like I was singing some copyrighted song or something like that. But for some reason it booted me out, but I am back. So I'm trying to figure out a way to
I'm sorry if I
let y'all
spelled
know.
Julius Caesar wrong. Don't hate me.
Let me add something.
My phone. My answer.
Okay, hopefully y'all are coming back. I see 4 people watching now. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened to YouTube. They are flipping out. So we'll go get back in it.
But my phone.
Let's see. Lots of Civil War. That's true. Ancient period of Rome. Rome would actually be over by the time 541 came around. The 541 to 542 AD is going to be the period of time that we're talking about today. That's a period of time in Byzantium, in the Byzantine Empire. So, okay, so let's go back and figure out what this virus was, right? So the origins of it came from Central Asia, and this is a blown-up picture of it, and it's called
Blown up? You mean
Yersinia pestis? I am not a medical expert, so. I'm not sure. Oh, welcome aboard, Miss Jackson. Glad you could join us. Okay, so yeah, so this disease comes out of Central Asia. Of course, that's it magnified up really large. It was an earlier strain of the same virus that caused the Black Death or the bubonic plague, right? So this is kind of like the grandfather of the bubonic plague, right? So that's this guy. Okay, and it's a disease that is transmitted by fleas. It's a disease transmitted by fleas.
So basically, if you have fleas.
Well, it's like if in this case it was like rats. So it would get on the rats would stow away in cargo crates and ships and stuff. Those are some things you already knew. What are some things, and you can just tell me, Elizabeth, what are some things you already knew? Okay, I have Mr. Raby saying it killed close to 1 billion people. Let's see what else.
It was, wait, where was it? It was like Europe or something? It was Europe, right? Dad? The bubonic plague was in Europe, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
All I really know about it is that well, I know a lot about it, but I know for a fact that it inspired the song Ring Around the Rosie and killed about 3/4 of Europe, we think. I know it killed a lot of people. They would just like put all the people like into piles and like.
And that's the Zoom meeting, if anybody wants to do Zoom. Now, I'll admit, I know very little about Zoom. I'm just playing with it for the first time. But if anybody wants to join Zoom, That's where it's at.
And, like,
Okay, so it arrived in
throw
Europe
them
during October of
to fire.
1347. Okay, that's good. Transmitted by rats and fleas, killed close to 1 billion. It expired the song Rearound the Rosie.
That
That's
was
all
me.
Good. That's good. Okay, so the bubonic plague would go on to become the worst pandemic in recorded history. Now, it is not the worst pandemic potentially, but it's the worst one we have written record of. And it's going to kill close to 50 million people, right? So 500 million people.
Which
At
is
the
what
time,
the coronavirus is going to kill if we don't do anything.
yeah. I don't think it's going to kill that many.
Yes.
But anyway, it's going to be 60% of Europe and 25% of the entire planet, right? So these are some pictures of it, artwork, and you can see the pictures of the Justinian flu. So this is the kind of grandfather of that flu. I mean that plague. Sorry. Okay, so what is it, right? So this bacteria, this Y. pestis bacteria, enters through the skin with direct contact with meat, blood, or an infected animal. Could happen, for example, when a hunter skins a carcass. You can get it by breathing in droplets of bacteria from a person in close contact, or from an animal, or a plague infected the lungs, a pneumonic plague. It takes its name from the infected lymph nodes called bulbils. And these bubbles, you can see them right here, are very painful. Swellings of the glands in your neck. And they can develop anywhere near the infected area of a flea bite. Things will happen will be high fever, chills, muscle aches, headaches, and extreme weakness. Yeah, within 24 hours. Now, without proper treatment, it can spread through the bloodstream. It could develop into a systemic plague, and eventually death. Okay, so you can see you see the fingers. Just kind of fingers are falling off. The whelps, right? Okay, so what are your thoughts on the disease thus far? I see somebody already chimed in, Miss Jackson, with ew. So what are your thoughts on the disease thus far?
See, I'm so disgusting. I'm so disgusted. I can't even spell disgusted. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Yeah, it looks disgusting. There you go. It looks disgusting.
No, it's not just disgusting. It's disgusting. It's
Yep. It is blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was worse than the Spanish flu. It was. It's funny, we were talking about the Spanish flu earlier. It's called the Spanish flu, but the first recorded case we have of it was actually in Arkansas.
Is Zoom like
Yeah, it's pretty
Skype?
bad disease. Huh?
Is Zoom like
I don't know for sure. I've never played with it before. I just had some students saying we should do it. So, but nobody's in it thus far. It looks pretty horrible, right?
Everybody go to Zoom.
Okay. Now, how did it get here, right? So it's believed to be carried in by infected rats that would stow away on grain ships that were shipped
Why
to
is
Egypt.
the rat so
Can you get
cute?
the dogs outside? Now, some people even speculate that it might have been on purpose, right? I believe so. Ms. Jackson asks, "What are we doing in Zoom?" I think it just gives you the opportunity to provide your audio, I think, or maybe even your video, which I can put over in the live stream. So that's kind of it. In fact, I'll add that. Let's do another source.
Why does the rat look so cute? He's a little cute rat. The little thing. It's so cute. It's so cute. Daddy, it's so cute.
Alright, hold on 1 second. Let's see.
But Dad's a cute rat. So cute. It's a little rat. It's just a little rat. Has a little
I'm sure how
mask.
to bring this into frame.
The rat is cute. We don't know how to work Zoom.
Yeah, give me
Answer your
1
question,
second. I'm gonna figure
Miss
it out.
Jackson. You do not know how to work Zoom, so we are figuring that out now. We don't know so much about Zoom to where I asked if it was like Skype. So if anyone knows what Zoom is, please tell us.
Hold on, I'm figuring it out.
You don't know how to work it, so don't even.
I'm pretty good at techno stuff.
You wish. They can see everything you're doing. Oh, Dad, I got it right. It's like Skype. Woohoo! Look at me
Okay,
getting
I
things
think
right.
I'm
Look.
getting it. I think I'm getting it.
Look. Comments.
Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so why would someone deliberately send a disease to another area? Why would
Like
somebody
they
do that?
deliberately sent the disease?
Yeah, why would somebody deliberately send it in? Okay, so there's Zoom, by the way, if anybody wants to zoom in. You know, I don't know. I think Miss Jenkins mentioned that she is doing a Zoom. So I thought I would give y'all, the opportunity, if you don't want to hear just me talk, y'all want to talk as well. But yeah, that's Zoom.
Other school teachers.
Yeah, other school teachers. Yeah, weaken your enemies. That's a good point. That's right.
Look at me having answers.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
That's
me
right.
go. You know?
Alright, well, I'm going to leave Zoom up there for a little while. If nobody's going to use it, then I might just bump it out. Okay, great point, right? To attack an enemy without really attacking him, right? That's absolutely correct. Okay, the goal is to weaken other empires, weaken other kingdoms, stuff like that, right? Right, to provide the empire. So eventually, this is going to lead to the Tang Dynasty in China. They're going to kind of power up in the wake of the absence of the Roman Empire, and other empires are kind of beating each other up.
Everybody go to Zoom.
I don't have to. Now, the first report of this plague would be in Byzantine in 541, and it's going to be reported under this historian named Procopius. It's part of the at the port of Pelusium near the Suez Canal in Egypt. Okay, so this area right here in Egypt, there's going to be the very first reported case of it. Right?
Wait, so in school you had to learn how to spell all these things, but you didn't have to learn how to say it?
Well, I can look up the spelling of it. Okay, so soon shipments would make it to the capital, and their capital is Constantinople. Right now it's known as Istanbul. There's actually a really funny song. Let's see.
That's immediately what my mind went to.
Maybe y'all heard of it. It's this one. It's the They Might Be Giants song.
The world's
Oh man. Anyway, at its peak, the disease is killing nearly 10,000 people per day at its zenith. Right? Oh, Miss Jackson's
Hello,
in.
Miss Jackson.
Okay, so here's the song. If y'all ever heard this, Constantinople song.
Istanbul, Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, now Constantinople.
Anyway, so that's the song, right? Okay, so why do you think so many people died once it reached the capital? Okay, so Miss Jackson is in the Zoom. I don't see or hear her though.
Ask to start video. Put your video on.
Well, I can't video because my webcam's already been used for the live stream.
Okay.
It's on Just Dance. That's right. That's right. It is on Just Dance. So what do you think, Elizabeth? Why do you think so many people died once it made it to the Capitol?
Because more people live in the Capitol.
Well, that's true. That's definitely true.
That's what I answered.
Yeah, so many more people close together. Could be sanitation issues. More people live in the Capitol. That's right.
I want to live in the Capitol. We used to live in the Capitol. It made me feel important.
Okay, give y'all another second to answer.
My weird dances in me.
Oh, it looks like Quinn left us.
There's only 4 people
Yep.
now.
Okay, let's move on. Now, this would be called the Plague of Justinian. Now, why is it called this? Well, it's based on the Emperor Justinian I.
Did he get it?
Who was the ruler of the time. No, he actually does not get it. So this is Justinian
Then
I.
why is it called Justinian?
Okay, so why is it called that? Well, the plague is called Justinian, the Justinian plague, because they blame it on him. And they blame it on him largely because of how he botched his response to it. So when it first started happening, he called it a hoax and he ignored it until it was too late. Okay, so why did they give the name of the plague to Justinian?
Sounds like the idiots down at the beach.
Don't get too political. We try to keep it as apolitical as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the people at the beach do need to leave the beach. That's for sure. That's right, because they blamed it on him. That is absolutely right. Okay. Now, even as the dead began to pile up, so much that there was no room to bury the dead, and the cities began to smell like the dead, Justinian continued to ignore it. And I want you to hear a quote from Procopius in 542 AD.
Wait, can I read it?
Here, just let me read real fast. Now, when the pestilence swept through the whole known world, and notably the Roman Empire. Now, keep in mind, they called their kingdom the Roman Empire, even though it was the Byzantine Empire, right? Wiping out most of the family. What are you doing? Stop. Wiping out most of the farming community and the necessary, leaving a trail of desolation in its wake. Justinian showed no mercy towards the ruined freeholders. Stop. Even then, he did not refrain from demanding the annual tax, not only the amount at which he had assessed each individual, but also the amounts for which his deceased neighbors were liable. So his solution to it, as people start dropping dead, was to raise the taxes on the people that were alive to make up for the people that had died. So why is it so dangerous to ignore science and the news during a pandemic? And this is kind of where I thought it would hit home. Why is that so dangerous?